Holistic health is the future. I believe the whole world is changing. The way we think about health is changing. And I'm here with an amazing friend, Danica Apooine, and she is a master at holistic health, knows all about. She works in a holistic pharmacy at the moment. She's written papers on this stuff. She's like super geeks out about it. And I just wanted to bring her online to talk to you and get you excited about health too. Danica, why do you think health is so important?
So, well, the first thing at the moment that really I think we need to think about is we're seeing how the world isn't in the place it could be. And we think that we are talking about just ourselves when we talk about health, but actually we're connected with everything and everyone around us, all the animals, all the plants, the whole planet. And in being healthy, we are talking about not just our own health, but the health of the planet. And we think that those are two separate things, but actually they never are. They're completely connected. And if I can give an example of that. So I'm going into my final year studying to be a homeopath. And I was going to be a pharmacist many years ago. There's a whole story and a journey around that. So it was really strange that I came across homeopathy, because homeopathy is almost on the other end of a spectrum. And one of the principles in homeopathy that I love, it was founded by a German medical doctor 200 years ago, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. And he talks about how there are 4 aspects to a being, to a person. And we've got the body, the physical body. We've got the mind. We've got the soul, which is who we are in a higher self kind of way. And then there's spirit. And spirit was his word for that essence of the universe or God or whatever we want to call that kind of that higher power. And he talked about how disease happens when there is a gap between what the mind says and what spirit says. So if I give an example of that, you could be driving along the road, and this was an example one of my tutors gave. You could be driving along. We're in a really funny place right here, where there's a door opening right behind us. Magical doorway. And Dr. Samuel Hahnemann talked about how this gap between the mind and the spirit is where disease happens. Now, if I give an example, this is one a tutor gave in one of my classes, which I thought was brilliant. If you're driving along the road and you're drinking a cup of coffee in a disposable cup, and it's a beautiful country lane, windows wound down, beautiful summer's day, and you finish your cup of coffee and you think, oh, I'll just throw that cup out, it's disposable or biodegradable, it won't matter, I'll just chuck it out there. And what happens is your mind might say, oh yeah, that's fine, it's going to break down in the environment, it's going to be okay. But your spirit, that higher aspect of you, it absolutely knows that was not the best thing to do for the planet. And what that does is it creates, on a subconscious level, a discomfort. We call that dissonance in psychology. It creates this place where we don't feel comfortable, and that's where disease sets in. So for me, I talk about health in all sorts of ways. I very much talk about personal health, and I've written a theory on medicine and on how we can tell what foods and what medicines are good for us and why, using amazing geometry and amazing, very simple mathematics we find in life. But actually, we can't have a healthy us if we're not listening to what our spirit says, which is saying at the moment our planet has to be healthy too. And so for me, health is all about connection. It's about connection to us, to everyone. It's about relationship. And that I feel really excited about. We're realizing we're not just looking after ourselves. We're looking out for ourselves in relationship to everything around us.
So good. Everybody, you need to connect with Danica. This is something huge. It's been a big shift for me. My friends who have been following me for a while, you'll know my favourite food used to be steak. My favourite drink used to be beer. And now I don't eat meat. I don't drink alcohol. And I had a complete flip around in my life. And one of the things I really learned is that at the deepest level, at the quantum level, every particle in my being is connected to every other particle in the entire universe, and so are yours. Every particle is connected through this thing called the quantum web. And when you're healthy, everyone around you benefits from that too. When you're in a great place, when you work on yourself, when you clear your stuff, when you have a nice clear vessel, it shifts your entire environment and the whole planet too. And we did this amazing Ho'oponopono meditation the other day to help because there's some crazy stuff going on in the earth, right? It's all part of this collective consciousness. How do you see in the future this working, like this connection between us and the planet? Do you think people who aren't connected, what's going to happen?
Well, I really think we're seeing a shift. I think we're seeing a huge shift right now. And I think I'm having amazing conversations with people who even 2 or 3 years ago wouldn't ever have thought to think about veganism or the environment or how they shop or what cars they drive, or any of those questions weren't in their consciousness. And we have seen an explosion in veganism, which has completely leapfrogged vegetarianism, which is amazing. But within that, there's something really interesting for me, because I think the future is actually learning to look at whether what we consume, what we do, encourages and reflects that which is life-giving, or does it reflect something that has the energy and carries the energy of death?
Nice.
And I'm going to give you an example of this. So we were never taught this properly at school, and I talk about this in the book and in the work I do, because I think it's so important. When we're looking at science and how we're made of atoms. And when we look at what an atom actually is, it's a little nucleus in the middle, in the centre, if you can all think back to perhaps seeing a picture of it. Tiny little nucleus with protons and neutrons in the middle. And then these electrons that flow around the outside. Now, quantum physicists have been able to show that an atom is only 1% physical and 99% space or energy. Now, if we're made of atoms, that means we are 1% physical and 99% space or energy.
Yeah.
And that's why we're energy beings. That's why we're quantum beings. And so if we put in something that carries the energy of life, it will give us life. If we put in something that gives us the energy of death, it will bring us death. Even if it's something that, you know, in a very small quantity, it will still carry an energy, a huge energy of something like death. There's an amazing environmentalist called Van Jones. He's really worth checking out. He did some amazing speeches at the Standing Rock demonstrations when trying to stop the pipelines being built. And he talked about how when we dig into the earth to draw out oil, what we are in effect doing is we are digging up death. We are digging up dead dinosaurs who died 14 million years ago. That's death that's been decaying and sitting there, and we are dragging it out of the ground, and we are burning it in our cars, and we are putting it in Vaseline and putting it on our skin, petroleum jelly, peeps. That's like watered down. Yeah, it's like petroleum jelly. It's petrol. It's like watered down petrol, and that comes from dead dinosaurs. So we are smearing on our bodies and putting in our cars and in the toiletries we use. We are using things that come from death. And the very, very simple way of choosing health over non-health is to choose those things that bring us life. We were talking earlier, before we did the Facebook Live, about organic food. When you put pesticides on food, you are putting, even if it's in minute quantities, something that carries the energy of death. And it doesn't matter whether it's the energy of death for a tiny, weeny little insect, or whether it's for something much bigger. It will affect, because it's an energy, and because we're 99% energy, even if it's a small amount designed just for small insects, it will affect us too. Because the energy of death doesn't look at whether an object is small or big that it's going to affect. It affects everything, because we're all energy. So how do we choose life? If we always go by that principle, that's what we're working towards. That's what the future of health is all about. To me.
In my book, I talk about becoming conscious of everything that you put into or onto your body. Like, become aware. Ask your body, do you want this? When you sit down to eat whatever it is, a bowl of chips, a bowl of fruit, like, ask your body, do you want this? And trust if it says no or if it says yes. Before you put beauty in inverted commas, products on you, do you want this? Like, there's so many natural alternatives out there. But I'm conscious of time, and I would love for you just to share with people some top tips on what they can do to make sure they're more healthy into the future.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Luke. So, First of all, definitely go organic. Like Luke was saying, only natural products on your skin. Our skin will drink in whatever we put on it. So it's like eating something. You might as well, I had a wonderful phrase once a friend used. Would you be prepared to eat what it is you put on your skin? Because in effect, when you put it on your skin, your body's eating it anyway. It goes through the pores in your skin. So only 100% natural products for your skin. No air fresheners. I talk about really unusual tips for health, like how to look after what you put in a first aid kit. So first aid kits, lavender oil, pure lavender oil. It's naturally antiseptic. It's amazing cooling properties. It's really great for small burns, immediately heals small burns. Really great if you've got kind of a small cut or something to stop it getting infected. More powerful than water on a really small burn. So really amazing to have in your first aid kit. I use a homeopathic first aid kit. Those kind of things, really great to think about. In terms of your digestive system, probiotics, but actually the food we eat is so important. So doing everything you can to cut out the crap. Veganism, we've just been talking about life and death. Do you want to put something in your body that carries the energy of death, which meat does? Dairy products carry the energy of sorrow. Do you want to bring the energy of sorrow into your being? So veganism is the way forward. And if I meet people who struggle to live and thrive on a vegan diet, and they think it's because vegan diets don't suit them, but I would say to that, vegan diets work for everybody. If it's not working for you, then your digestive system needs to be looked at, because you're not assimilating nutrients from the food you're eating. So look at your digestive health. Other things you can look at. Did you know, and this is one of my favourite things that I've come across in my time.
Get ready for this.
Get ready for this. This is big. Did you know that white powder on condoms is from milk? That's milk powder. Ladies, do you want that in your frou-frou? Because I don't think so.
Do you want that in your frou-frou? Hashtag, do you want that in your frou-frou?
Don't go there. There are vegan condoms. Go check out the vegan condoms.
Condoms are full of all sorts of crazy chemicals anyway. You want to get natural ones as much as possible.
No spermicide.
Yeah, spermicides are not supposed to be inside your body.
Energy of death. Again, energy of death. Don't do that. Everything is about the energy of life. So, yeah, I think those are my immediate top tips.
And how do people get in touch with you if they want to know more, or they want to get your book or anything like that?
Thank you, Luke. So my book's on Amazon. It's called Nature's Medicine Code. And you can get in touch with me on Facebook. I've got a website. My name is Danica Apooine. You'll see it obviously on the Facebook Live. It's written, it's pronounced differently to how it's spelt, so it causes confusion.
Keeps you on your toes. Keeps you on your toes.
So yeah, Danica and then Apolline.
And I know you're speaking at a festival tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the future have in store for you? What are you manifesting?
More speaking, meeting more people, talking more at festivals. I'm speaking tomorrow. I'm really lucky to be going on before Joe Wiley tomorrow at the big festival and talking about some of this stuff. Getting out there in the world and helping people realise actually that we are, not only are we powerful, but we're part of the change. One of the other big tips I talk about, if I can just add in before we finish.
Oh, you can talk forever. I've got nothing better to do than sit here talking about health with you. So,
thank you. Is we are really powerful. We forget how powerful we are, and the most powerful tool we have is our money. When we spend our money, we are literally voting for what we want to see more in the world. So when we buy organic food, we then see more organic food fill the shops.
Yep.
When we buy natural products, we see all the companies that are currently polluting the world change what they're doing and stop polluting the world, because they want your money. They want us to be consuming their products. So we are really powerful with how we use our money.
Yeah.
So use it for all the things that bring us life, and you will see the world change. And inspire, talk about it, inspire the people around you to do the same.
So important for you to own your truth, to be your truth, right? To not play small. If you believe something and your family don't, just be yourself and you'll naturally inspire them. My family thought I was crazy when I gave up meat. My mum still does in lots of ways. I was home 2 weeks ago, and for my food I got this packet of organic beetroot, and I just ate a whole packet of organic beetroot. No meat, no dairy, nothing, right? Just pure beetroot, and I absolutely loved it. For my meals sometimes I just have a whole melon, and it's just delicious. And they think I'm crazy, but that's what my body wants, and that's what feels good for me. So you have to really own your truth and just stick to it. And some people will think you're crazy, but other people will be inspired. You inspired me when I saw the story about your son refusing a sugar cookie at a party because you taught him what feels good in his body and what doesn't. And he knew that sugar cookies don't make him feel good. And that, for me, gave me a whole idea about what kind of dad I want to be. And I would really love for my kids to, and they are going to be able to grow up in a world where they have choices. We have organic choices now. You have organic choices now. You have vegan choices pretty much everywhere. There's really no excuse not to make the best choices for yourself, right?
Absolutely. We're really lucky to live in the times we live in.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute
It's been
pleasure.
great.
Let us know if you have any questions below. I would love to know your thoughts, feelings on this. Where do you stand in terms of holistic health? Is this something that's really important for you? And we need more people to be speaking out about this. So go share, tell people how you feel, let people know what you believe in. Make videos, make posts, right? Just be. That's the number one tip I would say. Just be.
Absolutely.
And you'll inspire the people that are supposed to be inspired. Amazing. All right.
Thank
Go make good choices. Sending you all lots and lots of love.